What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from Project Ellsworth, and I am back with you today to give you another top 20 for 2020 list. Quick shout out to Joe the HORRORman and Jason from Horrific Nightmares for creating this series. This is a series where us horror YouTubers in the horror community, a couple times a month, give a top 20 list of our favorite films within a chosen subgenre. This month we're doing remakes. I haven't done one of these in a month and a half, 2 months. I fell off the horse somewhere. I lost track. But this month I saw that it was remakes. I like a lot of the remakes, so here we go. I hope everybody out there is doing well and staying safe as usual. Let's get into it. All right. Coming in at number 20 is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I actually never saw the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but this is a really good flick. Leonard Nimoy, Donald Sutherland. Really good. If you haven't seen this, you ought to pick it up and give it a watch. It's pretty classic, pretty legendary film. I think it's pretty good. All right, coming in at number 19 is the remake of Fright Night. This movie is pretty good too, but it's significantly different than the original film was. I prefer the original film over this film, but nonetheless, I thought that this was pretty darn good. Colin Farrell was awesome in this movie, and I definitely think that this is worth a watch. Coming in at number 18 is The Hills Have Eyes. I did an individual review on my channel for this movie a couple months ago. I thought this was really good. I do like this one more than I like the original film as well. It's been a while since I've seen these two movies, but I do remember that I liked this one more than the original film. I just think that it's grittier, it's more brutal, and I just like the more modern spin on this particular story. The original movie's a classic, and I love it. I think I just like this one a little bit more. All right, coming in at number 17 is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. This is another one where I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit, but I've never seen the original film to compare it to. I think the original film was like 76 or 77, somewhere in that area. I know that I saw recently that it was available on, I want to say, Amazon Prime, and I got to cut out the hour and a half to 2 hours to sit down and watch that original film, because this one was pretty damn good. And I've heard several really good things about the original film as well. All right, coming in at number 16 is Carrie. I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoy Chloe Grace Moretz in just about everything that she does. That girl has very quietly become sort of a scream queen. She's done a lot of horror movies at this point. As much as I like this movie does not, in my opinion, does not even hold a candle to the original Sissy Spacek film. The original film is fantastic. It's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations of all time. I thought the remake of Carrie was good. I think the original film, Carrie, was great. All right, coming in at number 15 is Quarantine. I also did an individual review on this movie, and I got a lot of heat when I did that. People telling me that I shouldn't be reviewing this movie. I should be reviewing Wreck, which is the shot-for-shot film that this thing is patterned after. I still haven't watched Wreck. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I haven't watched Wreck. I think I have. Yeah, I do. I have the entire Wreck box set and still have not broken that thing out yet. So one of these days I'm going to get to Wreck, but as far as remakes go, I thought Quarantine was pretty damn good. Coming in at number 14 is The Ring. The Ring is a really good movie. I thought this was really cool. No complaints as far as this movie goes for me. I just absolutely love this movie. Scary as hell. The first time I saw this movie, I was in awe watching this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed The Ring. All right, coming in at number 13 is Night of the Living Dead. This was Tom Savini, if I'm not mistaken, that did this entire film. Let me see. Yep, Tom Savini. This is a Tom Savini project. Tony Todd is in this movie. This is really, really good. As much as I like it, I don't like it as much as the original. The original one is gospel as far as I'm concerned. This is a pretty solid movie. I love Tony Todd. I love Tom Savini. But the original Night of the Living Dead, for me, is pretty much untouchable. Okay, and coming in at number 12, and this is another one I'm probably going to get blazed on. The remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love this movie. I thought it was great. I think in the entire Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, the only movie that I liked more than this one was the original 1984 film. I love this movie. Everybody else on Earth hates this movie. Everybody complains about the CGI in that film. I don't understand. Everybody complains about the CGI in this film, but nobody complains about Freddy Krueger having a child and riding a broom and all the other goofy crap that he did in those movies. I couldn't stand the Nightmare on Elm Street movies once they became stand-up comedy shows for Robert Englund and Freddy Krueger. All the one-liners, all the movies that are just not funny at all. I don't like those movies at all. This movie is not funny. This movie is a horror movie. I like horror movies. I love the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. Blast away. I'm sure that I'll hear a lot of feedback on that. Alright, coming in at number 11 is the only movie that I don't actually own a physical copy of, and I thought I did, is The Last House on the Left from 2009. That's a pretty brutal movie. It's not as gritty and grainy as the original Wes Craven movie was, but it's pretty brutal subject matter nonetheless. There's some great kills in that movie. I thought it was really, really good. I enjoyed The Last House on the Left. Now I literally went over to the shelf to pull it off the shelf and realized I didn't have it. Now I know I don't have it. I gotta go find it and buy it. So the next time I am at FYE, I will be looking for The Last House on the Left. Coming in at number 10 is The Crazies. I just recently watched The Crazies, actually, within the last couple of months. This movie's just cool. I liked everything about this movie. I thought it was really good. But here's another one where I really enjoyed this remake. I have never seen the original film, so I got to go find that and watch it as soon as I can, actually, because I really enjoyed this. This is a good movie if you haven't seen it. It's just a very entertaining watch. Alright, coming in at number 9 is I Spit on Your Grave. This is a Blu-ray with the original film and the remake in it. I don't own it individually on Blu-ray. I used to own it individually on DVD, but when I got this, I think I traded in the other one. That, like, Best Buy was running a special where when you traded when you traded the standard definition DVD in, they were giving you like a $5 coupon to use towards a new Blu-ray. It was when the whole Blu-ray thing was trying to be really pushed out. You don't care about that at all. I Spit on Your Grave. I thought that this was a really, really brutal movie. And if you haven't sensed, a pattern here, I like really violent and brutal horror movies. I like scary horror movies. I like tough subject matter in horror movies. And that movie right there has a lot of brutality and tough subject matter in it. This is a really good movie. These are both really good movies, actually. So, I Spit on Your Grave. I haven't come across the fourth one yet. There's 2 more of the newer I Spit on Your Grave movies out there that I do own, but I know that there's a third one that I do not own. I gotta get my hands on that thing. I've actually been looking for that. I haven't gotten it yet. Next up, at number 8, is Chloe Grace Moretz again in Let Me In. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I am not the biggest vampire movie fan on Earth for whatever reason. It's not one of my favorite subgenres, but this movie is really good. But this is another one where I thought the original was better, but that does not take away from how good this movie is. This movie is really good. I loved this movie. I thought Chloe was awesome in this movie. The original one, I just thought was done a little bit better, and I saw the original one before I saw this one, so I obviously compared it to the original one. I watched this, and I thought this one just came up a little bit short from the original, but like I said, that doesn't take away from how good this movie is. This movie's really, really awesome. Coming in at number 7 is the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This was just fantastic as well. I thought that the guy who played Leatherface in this movie did a fantastic job. Jessica Biel was great in this movie. Arlie Ermey was great in this movie. Just fantastic filmmaking here if you're a horror movie fan. It's good. It looks good. It feels good. The acting is good. Everything about this movie is really, really good. I have to assume that most of you have seen this already, but if you haven't, check this movie out. It's awesome. And the prequel to that came out after that, Texas Chainsaw the Beginning, I actually like that one more than I like this one. And I actually like the 1974 original more than I like this one. But this is a good film. Check it out. Next up is Rob Zombie's Halloween. I like this movie quite a bit. I'm a very big fan of the Michael Myers in this movie. I thought Tyler Mane was fantastic. I thought a lot of the backstory... I'm mixed with the backstory. I thought the angle of the backstory was really good. Some of the follow-through of the backstory I was not crazy about. I liked all the interaction between Michael and Dr. Loomis. I thought that was very good. The interaction between those two and Sherry Moon Zombie's character in the movie was very good. Mrs. Myers. I thought all that was good. But all of the trailer trash, rednecky garbage in that movie, I could have done without. Was it William Forsythe? The character of Ronnie was just absolute garbage. He's one of the most unlikable characters in any film that Rob Zombie ever made, in my opinion. He was trash. Michael's sister was trash. The house that they lived in was trash. The principal of the school was trash. I did not like those characters at all. But I loved Tyler Mane's performance as Michael Myers, and I thought that Malcolm McDowell was fantastic in this movie as Dr. Loomis. Not so much the second movie, but fantastic in the first movie. And even in the second movie, I can't put that on Malcolm McDowell. I got to put that directly on Rob Zombie. He made Dr. Loomis very unlikable in the second movie, but in the first movie, he was awesome. All right, coming in at number 5 is the remake of Friday the 13th. I thought Friday the 13th was fantastic as far as a remake goes as well. A lot of people seem to dislike this movie also. A lot fewer people dislike this one than this one and the Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but I thought this movie was really good. I thought Derek Mears was fantastic as Jason Voorhees. I would love for another... I wish they'd get this legal crap figured out so that we could get another Friday the 13th. And when they finally figure all that shit out, hopefully they get Derek Mears to come back to be Jason Voorhees again. I know I've seen interviews with him where he said that he loved being Jason, that he's very open to the idea of doing it again. And surprisingly, he actually responded to a tweet that I sent him a couple of years ago, wondering, what's going on with the Jason character. And he actually replied to me telling me that he doesn't know what's going on and that he's really excited at the thought of being Jason again, but he just simply didn't know if it would ever happen. I hope that it does. I hope that it's him. He did a fantastic job in that movie. Coming in at number 4 is the remake of the Amityville Horror. This is one that I like this head and shoulders above the original Amityville. I thought Amityville was cool when I was younger. When I was much younger, I thought it was a cool movie. As I got older and I broadened my horizons with horror in general, I liked it less. It just felt very slow to me. It didn't feel... it had its moments that it was scary, but overall it felt very, very slow for me. And I think that this movie is a far cry from that. I thought Ryan Reynolds was absolutely fabulous in this movie. And I can't say enough about this. This was one of the first remakes that I saw that I absolutely fell in love with. And I still love this movie. Not very many, as you can see, obviously, with this coming in at number 4, there haven't been very many remakes made that I liked more than this. So here's one right here. If you haven't seen this movie, check this out. It's fantastic. My favorite Ryan Reynolds performance ever, possibly. I thought this was great. You're very used to him being quirky and jokey and funny and not serious. He's Deadpool. He was in the Van Wilder movie. You know, three guys, a girl, and a pizza place is going way back, but I mean, that's what you're used to with Ryan Reynolds. He was badass in the Amityville Horror. He was wonderful. Scary as hell. All right, coming in at number 3 is everybody's favorite clown, Pennywise. Loved it. Absolutely, positively loved it. Thought it was fantastic. I thought this was better than the miniseries was. I think that this is better than Chapter 2 was. Skarsgård was fantastic as Pennywise. This movie was legitimately scary. Very quirky, very weird. The kids that were in this movie were fantastic. The character of Pennywise is legendary in my eyes. Absolutely one of the best adaptations of any of Stephen King's works ever, in my opinion. So, Chapter 1 of It comes in at number 3. Number 2 and number 1, I went back and forth on. I had a hard time with them. But the deal breaker for me was where these films fell within the franchise overall for me. So, coming in at number 2 was Dawn of the Dead. As far as what I'm saying about the franchises go, this movie is not my favorite of all of the George Romero movies and projects and remakes. This is not my favorite. My favorite George Romero film is Day of the Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead, and then the Dawn of the Dead remake. This is good. This is great. This is not just good. I thought they did a fantastic job in this movie. I loved everything about this. I saw this in the movie theater. When the movie was over, I would have sat back down and watched it again. I love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And there's only one remake that I like more than this one that has been made to date, and that is Evil Dead. So this one was slightly above this one because this is my favorite movie in the Evil Dead franchise. I like Evil Dead. I like Evil Dead 2. I love this movie. I thought this was wonderful. Love the pacing of this film. Love the gore. Love the intensity. Love the score. Everything about this movie, to me, it's just dripping with wonderful horror goodness, in my opinion. Definitely my favorite remake that's ever been made. There's been a couple that have come close, but this is absolutely my favorite film in the franchise. It's my favorite remake that has been done, and I don't know what it's going to take to top this one for me, but it's going to have to be pretty damn good. The main character in this film was just scary as hell. Everything about this movie was wonderful. All the characters were cool. There's a few nods given to the old original Evil Dead film with Bruce Campbell. Here's another one. I have to assume that all of you have seen this movie, but if you like violence and blood and gore and you have not seen this movie, go get it. Go buy it. Go rent it. Go find it on Amazon. Find it on Netflix. Find it anywhere you got to find it and watch this movie. Evil Dead is wonderful. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I love all those remakes. I thought they're all, obviously some more than others. That's why they're ranked from 20 to 1, clearly. But, yeah, they're all good movies. I'm a big fan of the remakes. I know that there's a lot of folks out there who are not crazy about the remakes, saying that just Hollywood and writers have run out of good ideas. I don't believe that. I think that there are still several good ideas out there to be had. There's a lot of good stuff that have come out over the last couple of years that's fresh ideas and that change the game a little bit. But the reason that these movies get remade is because they're good stories. And if we didn't like good stories, there would be significantly less horror movies made. How many different twists can you have in a zombie movie or a vampire movie or a werewolf movie? They're all the same story, just being retold slightly different, a few different details. So I don't mind the remakes as long as they're done well, as long as they pay a little bit of homage to the original film, to the original writer, director, and so forth. I got no problem with them. A few of these things are actually better than the original was, simply because of technology, other films coming out and creating fresher ideas to put a new spin on an old story. I like all that stuff. As a horror fan, I think that that's cool. All right, I'm going to get out of here now. You don't need all that. You just wanted to see what my favorite remakes were. Whatever. I'm going to go now. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like this video and you've been enjoying my content up to this point, do me a huge personal favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching. Have a good weekend, everybody.